AMG Hobby Talk number 88. It is myself and the collector scalps collector people. Steve, how are you?
Pretty well. It's hot out east here, just like it is in Ontario. I tried to get Rod to join us this morning, but he informed me that he only had a face for radio, so he was unable to make it this morning.
Crazy, crazy. Now, the good news is for those of you who are watching and are listening, you won't notice the difference. We actually had to push it back a day because my equipment decided to rebel. I managed to quell the rebellion, but nonetheless. Now, the good news is I actually have the ability this time around. We're going to record this on the Wednesday, and you will still get the episode on the Wednesday. It might just be a couple of hours off because I'll just edit it and get it uploaded onto the channel, and you'll still see it. So, good news, you're still getting the podcast on the exact same day you normally get it at. It'll just be a couple of hours after the normal instead of us recording it the day before. But for this one, it's going to be just talking about Upper Deck Credentials. That's the main new product that is coming in. So I'll do a little breakdown on it for you. And surprisingly for me, our friends at Beckett actually have the checklist this time. So I actually get to go back to Beckett for once. Now, there is one of the cards that are shown in the promotional products that I want to get Steve's reaction to when I get to it. I'll get to it when I get to it. I gave him a little warning. There is something coming, but I didn't tell him what it is. We'll all see his response together when I show it because it's going to be part of what I'm going to go through when I scroll through it. As always, I will leave a link in the description to it for you if you want to check out the checklist and want to see the breakdown, the odds, and everything yourself. We'll still give you the basic rundown, but we'll show it and we'll talk about it. And we've also got some cards that came in this week, including a video game that is included in the items that came into the shop this week. So we'll show it off a little bit and we'll get into that. Now, real quick, let me grab a couple of the lists. I'll go through a couple of these items, Steve, and as always, if there's anything here noteworthy, let me know. Real quick as well, I'll also say if you want to know about quantities and pricing, reach out directly to the store. The contact points are always in the description, always included in there. And I'll also include the little scrolling ticker there as well, just so that you can all have that information. And let me go through this quickly here. So some items that are going to come in, some are restocks, and then some are new ones, obviously. 2025 Panini Donruss Baseball. So if you like some baseball on there. 2024 Donruss Optics Football Hobby International, because the names of these products get longer with all the qualifiers. 2025 Panini Mosaic Basketball. 2025 Panini Select Basketball. Panini Prism K-League Soccer. Not familiar with that one. 2025 Panini Select Soccer La Liga. I am familiar with that one, international. I've heard of them. Some Pokemon products as well. Pokemon Premium Collection Masks of Ogerpon. Got me on that one. Palladia Evolved Booster Bundle. Also Pokemon. Black Bolt Binder Collection. Pokemon White Flare Binder Collection. Black Bolt Elite Trainer Box. White Flare Elite Trainer Box. And I'm just reading through it to make sure I don't get this wrong here. There's a tin display, poster collection. There's a bunch of Pokemon there. Can't distinguish that for you. Can't help you there. And for the last page here, believe it or not, that's only page one. Here's page 2. 2024 Panini Football Select Blaster. Again, familiar with that. 2025 Topps Chrome Basketball, the Mega Box. Gotta have that. 2025 Goodwin Champions. Goodwin Champions is an interesting one because that one oftentimes has a lot of different categories in there. I might scan that one a little bit while we talk about it because Goodwin Champions is actually, those are kind of fun. 2024 Upper Deck Fleer Brilliance Superman Mega Box. 2 mega boxes this time around. And then the aforementioned Upper Deck Credentials Hockey. That's a long list of items there, Steve.
Yeah, and as you can tell, Carlos and I aren't exactly experts in the Pokemon field, but very important products to our local collecting community. And the last couple releases, they've worked really well with us in an orderly fashion on release day. We just kind of do a little printout of what each customer can pick up on day one. And, we just come in an orderly fashion and get your Pokemon fix and off you go. And it does look like we got a nice allotment this time. So you won't necessarily have to. I know some people like to come first thing in the morning, but I think you can probably relax and have a cup of coffee and roll in a little bit later in the day because it is a fairly good allotment. And, where we're just going to kind of allow, one per customer of each of the new items. We should be able to spread it around fairly well. But yes, exciting time, and Pokemon is hot and sells. So we welcome all the Pokemon that we can take in at the moment.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I like that. And actually, I think you guys are going to get a bit of a bonus, a little bit of a treat. Now that I'm looking at 2025 Goodwin Champions, I'll briefly mention it at the tail end. There's actually some fun stuff in there, but it'll be quick about it. The main focus will be on the credentials, obviously, because Canada will focus on the hockey part. But then when I see Goodwin, I knew in Goodwin Champions they'd sneak some interesting stuff in there. I just saw it. I did a quick scan, and definitely worth at least mentioning briefly. I'll also include a link in the description if you're curious. Okay, so let's get into it here. Let me share some of the comments that we received on last week's episode. Thank you as always. If you have something that's more time sensitive, reach out directly to the store. Use the contact points we already talked about. If it's not time sensitive, or you just want to give a little bit of a comment or a question, you're more than welcome to it, and we'll usually address it on the following episode. All right. So we've got a couple different ones here. Rick, I want to say Krause. I might have gotten that wrong. I apologize. But just speaking here, in talking about the Yager draft year, he was 5th overall. You didn't mention the first 4 picks. Now, one of them I believe we did, who were all became solid, steady NHLers to varying degrees. One, Owen Nolan. I think we didn't. I think we might have skipped Owen Nolan. I'm not sure. Peter Nedved. I don't think we brought up.
Nedved.
Keith Primo, and then Mike Ricci, or Ricci,
Ricci
was included in there. So we've got that on there, and great episode. So thank you, Rick. Appreciate the comment on that one. Rob here says, welcome, Blake. We'll miss seeing Sherry, but looks like you'll fit in well. We'll pass along the comments. So appreciate that compliment. And then Gotham Collections is back. So good stuff. Great video as always. Welcome, Blake. Go Sens Go. The Go Sens Go is back. So thank you, Gotham Collections, for the comment. Appreciate you. All right. So we got that all included on there. So we've got those ones mentioned already and answered from last week. I'll also remind everybody, the links includes it, but there's also the AMG eBay store. As we mentioned, it'll be predominantly buy it nows for the moment, but there is occasionally some interesting stuff that rotates through. So we do highly recommend you check it out because there is items that do get put on there, and sometimes some of the items that'll be featured sometimes end up on there as well. So if you are curious, that's another avenue. Otherwise, you can just ask and inquire within. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, let me close up the products here. And let me show off some of these items because I want to spend the rest of the time looking at some of these other products, and they're having a little bit of fun with that. Especially since we're going to have a little bonus with Goodwin Champions now that I see it. Okay. So let's go here, and we're going to look at some of these items. First one here is actually a graded WADA video game. Good old ice hockey. Very thematically appropriate. So this one's a WADA 8.5, and if you're not familiar with video game grading, yes, there is video game grading, like everything else now at this point in collectibles. One thing that I do like is that on the label, they actually include some additional information. So if you're not familiar with it, they'll mention. In this case, ice hockey is an Atari 2600 video game produced by Activision, and that information is actually included right at the top of the graded slab in the label because they got a lot of room on the label itself. And they can tell you 1981 blue box, notched lid, printed in USA. So you've got a lot of information included in it. It's actually kind of nice, and it actually has a base that you can actually stand up. So it can be a little display piece if you've never seen one of these WADA things in there.
Yeah, definitely something we don't find in this area. So when it came in the store, definitely jumped on it. And like you mentioned, that they present really well, with the little stand in that. I can understand why people do put a collection of video games together. And you got to love these high-tech graphics on this game as well.
Oh, they spared no expense. This right here is the height of 1981's quality. Unbelievable. Next up, we got a 77 to 79 Sportscasters. They produced the actual Sportscaster set for 3 different years. But this is the Wayne Gretzky, which is kind of fun because obviously it's right there in his rookie year is when this one comes out. So this was around the same year as his rookie card. And obviously the image is very early Edmonton Oilers. Now, the one thing I wasn't 100% sure on, I don't remember. I think at one point I knew this. It might be WHA Gretzky, or it might be, I think it was WHA Gretzky, the one we're looking at, because he did play the 1 year in the WHA for the Oilers. And I don't think we're actually seeing the NHL one. The problem is I would like to see the other player because that would answer our question. I'm not 100% sure on this one, but look, this is an early Wayne Gretzky from Sportscaster. If you really want to get fancy on it, it's kind of a different take on the early Gretzky.
And it's definitely, it's an oversized card, so it's hard to find in nice condition. And you used to see them a lot more. But just like everything else, I guess a lot of them are just in collectors' hands now. But it had been, couple years since I seen one in person, so it's nice to have this one in the store because probably several of our client base that haven't even seen it before.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it's kind of a fun piece if you've got a lot of other Gretzky stuff as well. So looking here at Panini Immaculate, we got a Shea Gildress Alexander, very thematically appropriate. given that they won the NBA championship, and I think also the MVP as well. So this was a Gem Mint 10 with the 10 auto. It is a signature patch, so you do have the autograph on there. This one numbered to 25 on this one.
And also, Shea is from Canada, I believe Hamilton. So, great for the Canadian fan base to have a Canadian win a championship and MVP. My only regret is he went to Kentucky, and I'm a Louisville fan. So part of me wanted to airbrush a Louisville Cardinals jersey over that. But, it is what it is. But great looking card.
A little regional rivalry bonus.
Yes.
There you go. I like it.
Absolutely.
The Black Diamond Plates rookie autos here, Luke Hughes. These are actually pretty nice looking in hand. They actually use the same design. They used it here. This one looks like it's numbered to 10. I believe I can see it right there. So you can check that out. I will say, these are actually very nice in hand if you've ever seen them. They use the same type of design here, and they also use it for the AEW Black Diamond product. So obviously, once they get a certain design kind of thing, they use it in multiple places. But I've seen some of those in hand for that product, and they actually look pretty nice, I will say, in terms of the way the autograph is structured. Now, I believe it is a sticker auto on these ones, so you can see that on there. But nonetheless, if you ever get a chance to check one of these out, I think they're actually pretty good looking with the whole metal plate thing background on it. Now here we've got a Askarov. This is a gold, so this should be the 1 of 1. Yes, I do see that it is the 1 of 1. It is the gold outburst. So if you haven't seen one of those, either way, we've talked about it before. If you haven't seen the outburst in hand, check them out because they play with the light incredibly well. And obviously the gold outburst being the 1 of 1 is a little bit extra special. You're definitely going to get some gold shine off of this one.
Yep. And actually that's the first gold I have seen in person, and it really does pop. And I listed this one on eBay, and it might have been 90 seconds after I listed it. A gentleman from Honolulu, Hawaii called me and said he needed that for his collection. So we were able to make a deal for it. And he sent me a nice picture of he's got the regular outburst, the red outburst, the gold outburst. So he's putting the whole rainbow of Askarov. And then he sent me a nice list of other San Jose Sharks he's looking for. So it's nice to see, like eBay and this venue as well. We definitely most of the time can get the cards, in the right hands, which is enjoyable for the hobby.
Excellent. And good to hear. Honolulu, Hawaii. So all the way over to Hawaii, we managed to get that one. That's nice. So here's the 1972 Summit Series ticket. This is a ticket for Game 2. Now, one of the things that I do like that they will include on some of these labels for the tickets, I appreciate when they include a little extra information. In this case, you can see that this is based on the game was in Toronto. And then in addition to it, you actually have the date and the score. So Canada 4, USSR 1, September 4th. So you do include some of the information right on the label, which is nice. And obviously you can see it on the ticket. But this one is a ticket stub in a PSA 4 included in it. So if you want kind of a historic piece as far as a historical game, a part of the Summit Series, there you go.
Yep. And this one, it was just a local resident that had these as a kid, and he kind of stumbled across the store and got talking to him. And, I was like, well, you should slab those. They'll present very nice. So he had 2 of them, and they both came back. So I asked if I could take a picture for the podcast. And also, I was interested in buying them. So they're surprisingly affordable too. But I made him an offer, kind of showed him what the comps were in that. So he was going to run it by his children because he was going to leave it to them. But hopefully the children will say, Dad, we'd rather the money. And he walks back into the store with them because they are, kind of a historical item that many collectors would like to have. But yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they might have been like $300 to $400. So in the collecting world, that's not overly expensive, and they're really nice. Like I know the numerical grade's a 4, but as you can see, it's got great eye appeal.
Absolutely. So you're saying he'll get slightly more than the $7 face value?
He
do
might.
A little better.
He might, and my guess is his parents would have paid for that ticket back then. So
nice, very good. So here we go. We finish it off with a Panini Kaboom card of Lionel Messi. So here in a BGS 9.5 with 4 9.5 subgrades. So obviously when you're talking BGS and you do include the subgrades in there, the subgrades do matter. They're part of the equation in it. In this case, you got 4 straight 9.5s. So it's a 9.5 without really anything underneath, because you can actually have subgrades below if some of the other ones kind of offset it. But in this case, 9.5 across the board. So it's very straightforward. And with the Kaboom, they can chip a little bit. So that's not too bad. That's actually a decent grade for these.
Yeah. And I heard Messi's a fairly good player too. So
Yep. Especially if you're into it, it works out pretty good. So there you go. Some cards that we wanted to kind of share that came in the shop. Some a good mix of things though. If you notice, it wasn't just one type of thing. We got a ticket in there. We got a video game in there. You got to see different grading companies. It wasn't just one specific thing. So it's a mixed bag. There can be different things that come in the store. Not picky. If the right item comes across the board and it's of interest, then there's a good chance that it'll appear in the showcase, if nothing else. All right. So now I think it's time. Let's do a discussion on credentials, and then we'll finish off for fun on the Goodwin Champions. Like I mentioned earlier, on all these, I will include a link in the description to it, so that you can check it out for yourself. And if you're curious about pricing and availability, you always want to reach out to the store. That is the best way to get the response quickly. Otherwise, if it's less time sensitive and it doesn't involve pricing, because we can't give pricing on the internet, rules are rules. But if you have questions that are not related to pricing, you can certainly ask that in the comments section, and we can follow up with it the following week. All right, so let me get started on this one. Upper Deck Credentials, this series has been out for several years. They've got kind of a theme to it, a little bit of a ticket sub-theme as well. But I'll go through a couple of the breakdowns of it for you. We always do a very high-level breakdown, but I'll show you some different things that you can check out. So you've got the base set in two sections. You got the veterans and the debut ticket access, which is you're talking about your rookie cards. Those are the two different themes that are followed. The vets are 100 cards, and we've got 6 levels of parallels. So blue numbered to 299, pink out of 99, green out of 25, purple out of 10, gold out of 5, and a black 1 of 1. So that's the combo. Some of them do have autograph versions that are 1 in 36 packs. You've got a purple out of 10 and a black 1 of 1. So in the grand scheme of things, considering the amount of products we look at, that's not overly onerous. The amount of parallels gives you a little bit of a challenge, but it's not like 10, 15 parallels, because some products do have that. So here's kind of what your design looks like, an example of a parallel with McDavid. I've seen some of them, some folks actually were able to get their boxes very quickly. I actually saw a break for that this morning. I was able to check that out. Some of them actually look pretty nice, I will say. You got to check them out in hand, some of them. And some of the really foil ones actually do pop quite a bit. You won't be able to see it on these mock-ups, but definitely check it out in hand if you're curious. But some interesting combinations.
Kind of looks like on-card auto as well, which is...
I believe for several of these it is. I believe for several of them it is, because I think this one they avoided the sticker. Obviously, you'll have to check on the specifics, because sometimes there's a mix, but I believe on a bunch of these they did include on-card. The 50 debut ticket access cards are one of the parts of credentials that is talking about fan experience, because it is meant to look like a ticket. It's similar to Panini Contenders, so that's a good comp there, and it is based on game tickets. So same thing, you got the parallels on this one. I think in this case, let me just see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've actually got one more parallel on this version for the rookies. So base version is numbered to 999, and then we've got a blue out of 399, orange out of 199, pink out of 50, green out of 25, purple out of 10, gold out of 5, and black 1 of 1. So you do have that combo on there. There's also horizontal variations that are 1 in 9 packs, and those ones have a red out of 99, pink out of 25, purple out of 10, and black 1 of 1s. So you got a couple different versions to keep an eye out for if you're collecting the rookies. So if you go beyond the base set here, you've got what's called debut ticket access autograph. So here's an example of a Stankoven, a couple different versions of it as well. They're numbered to yellow out of 85, green out of 25, purple out of 10, black 1 of 1, and the base is either 299 or 199, depending on the player. Use the checklist. That'll be the best way to determine which one is which. And you've also got horizontal debuts that are 90 out of 99 copies, with the purple out of 15 and black 1 of 1. You get the point. I kind of repeat on those ones because they follow a very similar structure. You do have acetate debut ticket access and acetate ticket access cards, so they are available with autographs as well. None of which have more than 99 copies. So you can see they're really using the debut ticket access to get a lot of different variants on this. Acetate, the horizontal and the vertical, different parallels. There's a lot of different things. And like I said, some of them have a foil treatment in the background. Some of them can look pretty good. So you'll be able to see, again, it's kind of flat looking at the mock-up. Check it out in hand. You'll be able to kind of see what I'm talking about. Now, they've got acetate retro ticket access, numbered 1 in 240 packs. And then the retro ticket access rookies, 1 in 120 packs. Hard signatures, retro ticket access autographs, 1 in 160 packs for veterans and 1 in 48 packs for rookies. There are gold versions numbered to 5. So there are hard signed autos, as kind of Steve alluded to, and a lot of the mock-ups seem to add to that as well. So we've got some interesting inserts. The first one you can kind of see peeking out there. This, Steve, is not the one that I'm talking about. Believe it or not. This one is very tame by comparison to where I'm going to go. This is very tame, Steve. We haven't gotten there yet. We're getting closer, but we're not there yet. So we do have some insert sets in here. Arena giveaways get the spotlight. The die cut bobbleheads, here you go, are numbered, are limited to 1,500 or 100 copies depending on the player, with a blue-black parallel numbered to 25. So here's an Ovechkin as an example. This is not what I'm talking about, Steve. I'm not there yet.
That's kind of fun. And if you get a low numbered one, that makes things a little interesting, but he's still creeping me out a little bit. And Ovechkin's a right-handed shot last time I checked, but it is a bubble hockey figure. So interesting.
So but this is not what I'm referring to, Steve. This isn't it. I'm about the next one that I'm going to get to will be it. We're about to arrive.
Should I close my eyes for it, or
I'll scroll to it, Steve. It's all right. We'll get to it. All right. So here we go. I'm going to show it and then I'm going to read it. Here we go.
Oh no.
So this is called repetitive head shirts. 250 copies of each. There's also a Hawaiian print shirts, 100 copies each, and other popular giveaways given the trading card treatment. Like bobbleheads, these will have a blue-black version numbered to 25.
Awesome.
Yeah. See, I knew this was coming, and I just said, no. The best part is the bobblehead was the perfect fake out. No. That wasn't where I was going with this. We were going to get
really like the bobblehead.
Indeed. So
interesting.
Oh boy. And there's actually another one that that I could share that it's also very interesting. Let's just say they took some license. Now the good news is that this is die cut, so you can have that. It's a die cut card. This insert I will simply call Nightmare Fuel.
Can we say that maybe in hand it really pops or something like that?
We could say that, Steve, but I'm not in the habit of lying to people.
Huh. Wow.
I do the best I can, Steve, but there are limits to how far I'm willing to go for this. There are limits to how far I can go.
And is the bottom of the card kind of like a normal shirt would lay? Like it doesn't look like it's straight across? Is it kind of a little...
That's what it appears. Based on this mock-up, that's what it appears to be.
That part's neat.
Sure. So what I'm going to say, in the spirit of Steve, I've been very clear on the ethos of this podcast, where I say I will accentuate the positive. So what I'm going to say is, this was an idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say. And I think that's fair. Moving on. Other inserts include jerseys, number 750 copies each, championship rings, 400 copies each, illustrated Fleer provisions. Now, this one is one that they don't include in the mock-ups, but I'll see if I can actually find an example for you guys before the end of the show. I got to show you one of these provisions. If you're familiar with provisions of the past, it's interesting. Not quite as interesting as t-shirts, but interesting nonetheless. But let me see if I can. Regardless, provisions, veterans and rookies, 1 in 300 packs, legends, 1 in 600 packs. Speed of the Game stars, 1 in 32 packs. Speed of the Game rookies, 1 in 11 packs. The more common inserts, front row talent, jumping on ice. I'm not going to read you all the different odds. I will include a link in the description to this. So that's a Hattie, Frozen Fights, Milestone Pucks. And then we've got photos including players' pucks for important moments. So an example being shown on there, Milestone Pucks with Nathan McKinnon. And 10 packs of credentials will come with a redemption for an autographed jersey. So you can actually get a physical jersey from Upper Deck Authenticated. McDavid, Lafreniere, Suzuki, and Shane Wright are the only players on the list. So you can't actually win an actual jersey as part of it as a redemption in this product as well. So that's kind of a fun little toss-in.
That's a great idea. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. So again, it's a lot of stuff. Like I you saw how much stuff I just listed off and went through, and I summarized super quick. I would recommend, though, if you want to check it out, scroll through and check out the checklist, because the checklist is included on here and there's a lot of information that you can include. So here's the breakdown, what you're looking at. You're looking at 6 cards per pack, 8 packs per box, 20 boxes in a case with 2 10-box inner cases. Your set size is 150 cards, and it'll be coming out this week. So in one hobby box, you should expect an autograph. You should expect one of bobbleheads, championship rings, Hawaiian print shirts, or repetitive head shirts, my friends. At least one of those per box. Now, not all of them. One of those things on that list per box. Cross our fingers, repetitive head shirts. Let's go. Cheers to the Rafters, front row talent, frozen flight, jumping on ice, milestone pucks, or that's a Hattie. All those different inserts, 12 total in some combination. So there's going to be a bunch of those. Those will be your most common ones. You'll see them in every single box, quite a number of them. 1 speed of the game per box, 2 debut ticket access per box, 1 horizontal debut ticket access, at least a parallel of some kind, and additional numbered card or rare inserts, 1 total. So remember, I said there were 6 cards per pack and 8 packs per box. Add all that up, and you're going to get something in every pack. Every single pack will have some kind of an insert, a parallel, something, a repetitive headshirt. There'll be something in there. So you'll have something in each pack. And then here, as you can see, as mentioned, you've got the checklist on here sorted out. So you can check out all the different autographs that are available. Some of them are short printed and they are labeled as such. So you can look at it. And there's super short prints as well. Like Cale Makar here, super short print. Draisaitl, super short print. Austin Matthews, super short print. Not surprising, but you'll be able to see based on the list who qualifies for that. So you've got it on there. Inserts as well. Updates. There are updates as well. Some debut ticket access from the past are included on there as updates. And then you can have the team sets, full checklist. Everything is on there, sorted into these different tabs. I'm glad that Beckett is back on this because I do like that formatting to be able to quickly hit the tabs and be able to see everything at a glance. Perfect. So that's pretty good. So Steve, how excited are we? That's amazing.
Like you said, it's something different. Hopefully in hand it really pops. I do like those redemptions with the jerseys and that. I haven't seen that in a product for a while. So and I mean a McDavid jersey autographed on a good day, is probably worth $1,500 or more. So that's a nice little redemption. Also too, something I want to point out even to customers, because it happens sometimes when a product comes out, you'll receive a damaged card, or the odd time, if you're guaranteed 6 Young Guns and you only get 4, when you contact Upper Deck, Upper Deck's usually good about making things right, but they're going to want things from the customer, things like the receipt. There's a serial number on the box that they're going to want. What I tell customers is don't throw anything away until you're satisfied. So when you're opening the product, keep your receipt, keep the box, keep everything. Because we've had customers kind of reach out to us after the fact, like asking if they can get a receipt from a product they bought from us, that sort of thing, which we will do when we can. But, when we give you the receipt, like I said, just keep it until you're satisfied. Some people even like to record the event just in case something happens to validate, their story when, contacting Upper Deck. But definitely keep the box, keep the receipt until you're 100% satisfied, because there are, whether it's a print flaw or sometimes, they're short a card or something like that. And again, we'll help the customer out, but it just kind of speeds the process up. If you already have the serial number and the receipt, just keep that till you're happy and satisfied with opening the products.
Absolutely. I'm just scrolling through. I just want to see and make sure we got the right thing here. Perfect. All right. I do have to show you one more thing. It obviously wasn't included as part of the original, but it is part of that checklist. I mentioned the credentials provisions. So I don't know if folks are familiar with that in the past, but they've got some, basically they created art as part of it included in the provisions. And I do have one example that I can share with you. Quinn Hughes, Thunder God.
Oh boy.
Very short printed. If you remember the odds I gave you, they're actually very tough to pull.
I feel like there should be one of those of Blair.
I think it's obvious. I think the inspiration came from an obvious place. See, Steve, I got all the things. Again, ideas were tried. That's what I'm going to say. Those are the words that I've chosen to give Steve. That's it.
Yeah, I can appreciate that too. So
yeah, just same. Ideas were tried. Now, I want to make sure I got the right one, because obviously we were talking about, I did make mention of Goodwin Champions. It is one that in the past I've enjoyed. Now, it's obviously listed as Goodwin Champions Baseball, but at the same time, Goodwin Champions usually is one that includes a lot of other different things. I'm just trying to make sure if this is right, because we're making a distinction between Goodwin Champions, the general, or is there a Goodwin Champions Baseball product that's separate? Just want to make sure I don't give you guys the wrong one. 2025 Goodwin Champions. Because they listed as baseball, but I'm not sure about that, because I think it's just champions in general. I believe. Could be mistaken, but let me double check. Let me take one more look. Yeah, no, they include definitely other sports. Covers a lot of different sports, household names, and all that. Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is the multi-sport, multi-discipline thing. Yep. Okay, it is the right one. I wanted to make sure. Okay, perfect. So I can actually show you guys this. So a little bonus. We're not going to spend the whole time going through this, but I got to show you some of this stuff because it is very interesting. I will say.
Hmm.
As far as products, obviously credentials we were going to spend a lot of time on, but this one actually kind of interests me because I do enjoy when they do the multi-sport thing. And I'll include a link in the description here for you as well, so you can check it out. So I'll quickly skim through it. But you've got your base set in there, and you can see right there, splash of color, Brie Larson, the actress Brie Larson. You got mythology. You've got a lot of, and exquisite is included in it. But here you've got, and I won't try to pronounce everybody's name. Bianca Bustamante. You got Tony Hawk, Shaun White. Some of the other names I'm not as familiar with, but obviously I know Tony Hawk. I know Shaun White. But you kind of go outside of just athletes. You've got celebrities. You've got a lot of different options included in it. And you've got here at least 2 hits: autographs, memorabilia, exquisite collection, Black Diamond, lenticular bounty, Animal Kingdom emblem cards, Gaudy cards, base set foil board card, and Upper Deck Young Guns are included. So you've got some combination of all these things in every box. And like I said, it goes outside of kind of the normal realm. And here's some of the examples included in there. So a Cameron Brink Gaudy. There you go, WNBA. But let me kind of zoom in on some of these. So Bianca Bustamante, who's racing. So you've got that as an exquisite. Here, like I mentioned, Brie Larson here, splash of color, an actress on there. Okay, great, with an autograph. That's cool. Cameron Brink, obviously, WNBA. All right.
Cool.
Museum collection here. You've got a piece of a vintage basketball. Kind of interesting. From James Naismith here is the giraffe, Animal Kingdom emblems. I don't know the, the thought process behind this one, but okay, I'll go with it. World mythology here, Apollo. See, I bet you didn't think you'd get an Apollo card, but you could. Asa Newell, Young Guns for basketball. Aitana Bonmati, I probably butchered that, but for soccer, you've got that on there. You've got a mixed martial artist included in there under Goodwin Champions. It's a pretty good mix of different things, Steve.
Oh, it's always one of my favorites because you can. It's fun to watch people open it because they'll like, oh, this is neat, and then they're like, what the heck is this? And then they're back to this is neat. So yeah, you go from the Stan Musial coin to a card of a giraffe to an autograph. Like it bounces all over the place. So it's it's definitely a fun if you know what you're dealing with going into it. It's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah. Now, in this example here, the birth year quad coinage. This here, obviously, Stan Musial is the focus on this, but they're putting in the year 1920. The interesting part about this, if you look at it, is that the coins are all now. Obviously, these are super worn down examples, so it sounds to me like they embedded the coins into it. But what looks like here is you're looking at designs that were available in 1920 because you're talking about the design on the quarter. That's the Buffalo nickel. That's the Lincoln cent, which was still around at that time. And then you've got the Mercury dime. So these are if you're a coin collector, obviously these are all appropriate to the specific year and era. If they're all 1920, actually, that's kind of a neat thing if they manage that.
Yeah, I would think they would have some value as well.
Yeah, some of them definitely hold up because some of them, depending on the year, some of them still have silver content in them because at that point you still had silver in the coinage. So even, again, it wouldn't be a lot given the size of the coin, but automatically, at least it's got some value, at least from the silver value. And obviously, those are super worn down because you're not going to pay the money to have a nice looking version of that because some of those quarters and some of those Buffalo nickels can actually go for a pretty penny in nice condition. But kind of an interesting thing. Kind of an interesting take. So I like that. I like that they tried something different. I thought it was kind of a fun to throw that in there as a thing because I love sometimes when they do the multi-sport sets because you can genuinely find. Listen, that's how we got You God. That's how we got You God. Without that, we wouldn't have had that, and our lives are all enriched for having been witness to You God. I can't beat it, Steve. That puts an exclamation point on it. Is there anything else we want to make sure we touch on?
No, just like I said, it's that time of year where we're just doing a lot of moving things around, taking inventory, changing some pricing on some things, moving stuff around in the store. On the PSA side, they're very, very busy this time of year with lots of orders coming and going. So the store might be a little bit quieter on the AMG side, but it's still hustling and bustling from the PSA coming and going. But no, we're rocking and rolling. And then there'll be some new product coming down the pipeline here soon that we'll bring some of our collectors out of hibernation, like whether it's SP Authentic. I know the the women's was it the WPHL, that'll be coming out around the corner too. Lots of interest in that. And other than that, hope everyone's enjoying their summer, getting to the cottage, and getting some sun, because it only lasts so long up here.
Nice. Agreed. And then next week, we'll give you guys a reminder because obviously the trade night and card shows are still going on during the summer. Right now, we're in the middle of the month. Next episode, we will remind you, though, because obviously we'll be approaching towards the end of the month and we'll want to give you all those reminders. We will do that. All that information, you can also check out, like I said, on the Facebook, because a lot of times in the social medias, you'll get different reminders about the dates. And I'll see if I can pull up that graphic that shows the rest of the year there, because all the dates are on there. But it's generally speaking the last Friday of the month and then the last Saturday of the month. Those are usually the trade night and card show respectively. And right now they're still going on. We've got dates all the way through November. So basically the rest of the summer and into the fall, we actually have dates for all of those. But we'll give you reminders on that next week. Okay, so on that one, we'll leave it at that. You got a full episode in it and 2 products that were covered on there. And then again, if you have questions about pricing or availability, you can reach out directly to the store, use the contact points provided, website, a lot of the other options available. And we put the Instagram and the website down there scrolling across as we've been talking. So for myself and Steve, Collector of Scallops, Collector of People, enjoy the rest of your week, and then we'll catch you next week.